Hey everyone, thank you so much for joining us on CBS News 24/7. I'm Tom Hansen. It's almost 4 o'clock here in New York, 1 p.m. on the West Coast. Former President Donald Trump is attacking the Harris-Walz campaign in his first full news conference since the failed July 13th assassination attempt against him in Pennsylvania. Today's remarks were also the first time he has spoken publicly since Vice President Harris announced that Minnesota Governor Tim Walz is going to be her running mate. The former president has limited his campaign appearances in the weeks following the assassination attempt. In his absence, Trump's running mate, J.D. Vance, has held dueling campaign events. Despite growing enthusiasm among Democrats, Trump says he is still polling extremely well.
I was doing very well with black voters, and I still am. I seem to be doing very well with black males. This is according to polls, as you know. It's possible that I won't do as well with black women, but I do seem to be doing very well with other segments, extremely well with Hispanic. Jewish voters way up, white males way up.
CBS News campaign reporter Taurean joins us now by phone from Cincinnati, Ohio. So, Taurean, what are the key takeaways from today's remarks? And do you expect to hear more of this from the former president as we close in on November? We know that this is sort of going to be a foreshadow for probably what we're going to see in the upcoming debates.
Well, some notable moments there. We saw the former president agree to finally debate Kamala Harris. This is after weeks of it being undecided whether or not the Trump campaign will step up. We've even seen his running mate, J.D. Vance, say that they won't commit to anything until the ticket is finalized, presumably through the DNC convention. But Trump today said that he is willing to debate Kamala Harris at three dates that were set previously. We also heard him look to paint Kamala Harris as this far-left radical Democrat. He tethered a lot of what he called failures under the Biden administration to her, calling it the Harris administration, and is looking to make that case to voters, that if they don't like what they've seen over the past 4 years, in his mind, it is because of Kamala Harris. But this was a press conference that was at times scattered. He took shots not just at the vice president, but also painted her running mate, Governor Tim Walz of Minnesota, as this far-left radical liberal, made some falsehoods about his stances on abortion. And then he also took aim at other political rivals, like former President Barack Obama and Hillary Clinton. This was, though, pretty typical of a Trump campaign stump. We've seen him deviate away from the teleprompter at his rallies to also take these types of attacks. So in a setting like this where he was open to questions, it was clear that his mission was to direct some of those questions or inquiries from the press to talking points that he had, which was the mission here was to paint Kamala Harris and Tim Walz as this radical Democratic ticket.
You know, one of the things that we saw, and forgive me, I want to bring in CBS campaign reporter Aaron Navarro. He's been following the Harris campaign. So, Aaron, you know, one of the interesting things that we saw, Trump really attempting to tie VP Kamala Harris to President Biden. It's interesting to note that because Kamala has jumped into the spotlight as a candidate who's trying to differentiate herself from President Biden. As we all know, he was facing sort of an enthusiasm deficit heading into this election. So what response, if any, are you hearing from the Harris team about Trump's remarks today?
Well, the Harris team, like they always do whenever Trump is speaking or Vance is, they've been clipping certain bits from his speeches and putting it out on their Kamala HQ, their rapid response account. They've highlighted, as Taurean mentioned, his comments about abortion, but highlighting how Trump claimed responsibility and said many people wanted Roe v. Wade to be overturned. They are highlighting how Trump said that Jewish Americans who do not vote for him should, quote, have their head examined. So taking some of the more bombastic comments and really highlighting those on their X account. Now, when it comes to the debate, that's kind of the outlying question from all of this. We have asks out to the Harris campaign. Before, when Trump has said that he should debate Biden more, that Biden should accept more debates, the Biden campaign had responded by saying, these are the dates we agreed to, don't back out of them. We'll see, now that ABC seems to be confirmed, how the Harris campaign handles these proposed dates for NBC and Fox from former President Trump.
And Aaron, you know, as we look at the former president speaking still right now and taking questions, one of the questions that I have is the timing of all this. You know, after all of this momentum and enthusiasm for the Harris-Walz ticket, kind of a renewal or revival of that campaign after the former president or after President Biden stepped down, do you think that that plays a role in former President Trump having this news conference? What's the strategy? All right, we're pulling away to tune into this. Moments ago, Vice President Harris was just speaking to United Auto Workers members in Detroit. Here's what she had to say.
And there is that. And so I say to all the members of UAW, and Sean Fain as the first who I talked to about this, I am so deeply honored as a lifelong supporter of union labor for Tim and I to have the endorsement of UAW. So deeply honored. Because you walk your walk. You walk your walk. And what we know, like we have talked about, we got 89 days to get this done. You know, the one thing about all of us is we like hard work. Hard work is good work. Hard work is good work. The thing that we like about hard work is we have fun doing hard work. Because we know what we stand for. And that's a big part of this campaign. You know, when you know what you stand for, you know what to fight for. We know what we stand for, and we stand for the people. And we stand for the dignity of work. And we stand for freedom. We stand for justice. We stand for equality. And so we will fight for all of it. And the bottom line about UAW is that I also know, and I'll say to all the friends watching, look, even if you're not a member of a union, you better thank unions. That 5-day work week. You better thank unions for that 8-hour work day. You better thank unions for that vacation time. So I'm here to say thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you to the sisters and brothers of UAW for all you are and all we will do over these next 89 days. God bless you. God bless you. God bless you.
All right, we've been watching Vice President Harris speak during a campaign event with United Auto Worker members in Detroit. She says she is so deeply honored to have the endorsement from the UAW. You know, she stayed on message, not really addressing the barbs thrown at her by the former President Donald Trump at his speech in Mar-a-Lago. So the differences are clear. She stayed on message. Former President Donald Trump, a meandering kind of rant at times, very different speeches, but